My coffee is hot, but not as hot as Matthew Dellavedova was last night. And LeBron James as the Cavs take a 2-1 series lead over the Golden State Warriors. What time is it, Ja'Cory?
It's LBJ and Deli time. LBJ and Deli time. LBJ and Deli time.
The question is, how many times can we watch that before it gets old?
We're not getting close.
I haven't gotten there, yeah.
I haven't gotten there. All right, so I'm going to be watching that
many more to go
all day long. So let's get to it, boys. The Cavs, and I'm going to say this after every game, are an Iman Shumpert falling jumper away from sweeping the Golden State Warriors.
Can you not?
I know. It's unfair because it's bad because I also criticize so many who say like, oh, you know, if Steph Curry hit 2 more threes in either game 2 or game 3, they would have won. Yeah, no shit. But to the game itself, the big storyline was Matthew Dellavedova, his grit, his heart, everything that he put onto the floor. You know, he went to the hospital after the game because of cramping. And you got to think for a second, it's like LeBron James puts that much effort into every single game. Dellavedova looked like he was out of just gas and just went into his reserve tank, as LeBron put it, towards the end of that game. You got to respect it. You got to love it. Jeremy, you mentioned to me right before this show, what do fans look at Matthew Dellavedova for?
Well, when Matthew Dellavedova is on your team, you love him. If he's playing against you, you're going to get reconstructive knee surgery because all he does is dive on the ground at your legs.
Right. So we're going to do another whole clip on Matthew Dellavedova a little bit later on regarding somehow the internet reacts to that, which is going to be great. But let's get down to business here. The Golden State Warriors, we talked about after the game 2, how they were going to adjust or what their game plan was going to be. What did you guys see, Jared? I'll start with you. Do you think that they tried to make adjustments that just failed, or do you think that they're not sticking to their offense? You know, what is going on with the NBA's best team?
I think they made the right adjustments, honestly. But the problem is it's hard to adjust with LeBron James. He's going to adjust to you again, mid-game. It doesn't take him a full game to readjust and adjust more. So honestly, I mean, they didn't change that much with him. I mean, as he was mentioning after game 1, you're going to have, it looks like they're only putting one guy on him, but they're actually sending double teams in like a secretive way at him. So when he makes one move, next you know, there's 2 guys on him, and sometimes 3. So that opens up other guys. And that's when you get, you know, as we said, Shumpert had a chance to, plenty times to end that game because of how much attention LeBron got. So he adjusts for you, and there's not much you can do about it. It's one of those adjustments that isn't going to stop LeBron. If you're going to shut off one thing, he's going to go for the next. So he's going to get his points. He's going to get his looks. He's going to get open looks for other teammates. That continues to happen. What they need to adjust for is scoring more, which obviously what I think Steph had 26.
He did. He had a big fourth quarter. He exploded.
And the only reason that changed is because he finally, this is not a matter of adjustment. His attitude changed. You saw a little bit of a switch. Like he's like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
You know, he looks hesitant. He looks like he's not sure if he should do it yet. I feel like he's wondering if he's looking like a ball hog. He's got wide open looks and he pumps. I was like, when has Steph Curry ever pump faked on a wide open 3-pointer? And he's doing that. He finally stopped doing that at the end of that game and started putting up some
pump
points.
Faking, or did you just blink?
Could have been either one, but the fact that it happens that fast, you can see when a pump fake is just a flinch for him.
Right.
And it's like he was surprised when he's that open, which actually I think gives some credence to what Cleveland's doing. When he's open, he's a little surprised because they're not leaving him open. They're not doing anything to let him get a shot off.
Yeah, the thing with Steph Curry, especially at the end, towards the end of the game, when he started making difficult isn't even fair to describe the type of shots he was sinking with what looks like ease. I look at this as that Steph Curry played 7 quarters or 6.5 straight quarters going back to game 2 of just bad shooting. No shot was falling. Not necessarily bad shots that he was taking though. And now I would be a little bit concerned if you are the Cavaliers and if you are David Blatt that he's found his stroke again, because I don't see Steph Curry shooting that poorly like he did over the last 6.5 quarters throughout the rest of this series.
I mean, when you talk about adjustments, I think the Cavs didn't have, I mean, the Warriors didn't have a lot of adjustments to make defensively. I think defensively they're playing fine. They're only giving up 90-something points. They're having them settle for a lot of threes. They're hitting a good amount. You know, LeBron's scoring 38, but he's doing it on 34 shots. So you can't say they're playing bad defense. It's really on the offensive end that they're struggling mightily. They haven't scored 100 points this entire finals. And obviously a lot of that can be credited to the Cleveland's defense. They've been blitzing Steph on all these screens, and honestly, the Warriors haven't been able to respond. When Steph goes and he goes around a pick and there's 2 guys staring at him and he drops it off to Draymond or Harrison Barnes, they're either throwing it out of bounds or they're missing open jumpers. True. And when that starts happening, their offense can't flow. There's no like sort of machinery that starts to act up when the ball starts moving because people they freeze, they miss shots, and Steph doesn't know what to do. What's interesting is we forget that he's a point guard. And he's an unconventional point guard, to say the very least. But when he's going off those picks and he's not getting open shots, he either shoots it anyway, which I guess you can't really blame him for the kind of shooter he is, or he dishes it off too quickly. Like, he can keep his dribble alive and try to make something. He needs to be passing a little better than he has been, I think. Especially you saw the behind the back pass to nobody.
I blame that on Draymond Green. He should have been there. And I say that because that's how the play looked like it was supposed to be drawn up, regardless if it was behind the back or just a turn and chest pass to him. I think that's on Draymond more than Steph Curry, but I see exactly what you're saying with that is he's got to be more aware in that type of situation. Maybe don't get as flashy with it. Yeah. Just make the clean pass.
I think we sometimes have a problem with behind-the-back passes or unconventional passes that look fancy only because we think, no, that took away from what would have happened. Hey, if it was a chest pass, it would have been a second later, and there would have been more defense
that's a good
there.
point. That's a very
Sometimes
good point.
behind-the-back passes are necessary.
I think it was the right type of pass to make. You just shouldn't have thrown it out of bounds. But I mean, and you look at their offense now, it's nothing like what we would watch during the season or even up until the conference finals. I mean, you look at the offense and you see basically Curry just running around relentlessly until he kind of gets open and he jacks up a three. Or, they have a Draymond Green ISO'd on the high block for some reason because they can't get anything else going. And you wonder, like, how much of this is Cleveland's defense really stepping it up and how much of it is just the Warriors out of sorts?
Right. Yeah, those are all very solid points.
I feel like the Warriors answered the question I was thinking to myself that I thought maybe there must be something else happening that I'm missing. Where was David Lee? And he finally was inserted into the game, and he made a difference.
Mm-hmm. The reason
he changes the game without a bunch of stats.
The reason why he was put into the game is because Draymond Green, to put it politely, wasn't doing jack shit for them, right?
Yes.
He was going. Steph would make the pass after he drew the double, and then Draymond would stand there. And I remember in game 2 or maybe it was even game 1, he would throw alley-oops to nobody at least 2 or 3 times, or he'd miss a jumper or pass it for someone else to miss an open jumper. The cogs that make their machine work on offense aren't working right now.
Right. So the interesting point about Draymond Green is there's been a lot of different articles that have come out saying that Tristan Thompson is replacing Draymond Green in terms of, like, they play a similar game, and Draymond was a major catalyst in opening up the floor and the Warriors' offense all season long, all playoffs long. Now he's gone the leftovers on us, the HBO show. He's disappeared out of nowhere. And Tristan Thompson is just taking complete advantage of being able to play with LeBron. So, of course, all of these players get elevated, similar to how Jordan elevated the players around him. The difference is LeBron doesn't have Pippen, Kukoc, Rodman, Kerr. Like, he's got Tristan Thompson, Matthew Dellavedova, Timothy Mozgov. These guys are... It's a roster of C-minus players.
As Chris Rock put it on Twitter, yes. LeBron James and the Knicks just won Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Which I love. Thank you, Chris Rock. He is a Knicks fan, I believe, too. So interesting stat from Kevin Pelton on ESPN. Even with a 36-point explosion in the fourth quarter, Golden State still ended up scoring less than a point per possession. They've only done that 3 times. They've lost all 3 games when that happens. It's shocking to me.
Yeah.
The Warriors, part of it, though, that I want to attribute all of this to, only LeBron James plus James Jones, Mike Miller have any kind of NBA Finals experience. And not just a year and not just a few playoff runs. LeBron's now been here for his 6th time, his 5th straight finals. He knows how to handle these situations. And you have to think for a second, even with Kyrie out, Kevin Love out, Verjao out, they're 2, 3, and 4 best players in the team. The offense is totally, the Cavs have a non-existent offense. I'm totally fine watching LeBron hold the ball till 7 seconds and then make a play. His jumper's finally falling a lot better than it did in the previous series. His turnaround game is scary good. He keeps attacking the rim. Even if he doesn't get there, that's wear and tear. And that's going to bruise and battle these bodies that he's going against. But that's why I think David Lee could become a major part in the rest of this series, because he's another healthier, not as worn down body.
He's itching to play. You can see it on his face.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, what the Cavaliers are doing right now that's really working well for them is they're slowing the game down to a grinding halt. There are no fast breaks. They're trying to run their half-court offense and pressure the Warriors into running the half-court offense. And so far, it's working very well. You can say, well, the Cavs don't have a very good half-court offense. That may be true, but right now, the Warriors don't either. And what they're doing with Steph, the way they're able to trap and prohibit ball movement, is working really well, and I think a lot of teams haven't been able to do that successfully over the course of the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so far, so good for them. We'll see what happens.
I agree. And here's the thing. So let's talk. I want to throw to LeBron James' press conference after the game where he discussed Matthew Dellavedova.
Well, I mean, I know one thing I'm going to count on Delly as always is how hard he's going to play. He's going to give everything he got, his body. He's going to throw his body all over the place, and he's going to compete at a high level for how many minutes he out on the floor. Tonight it was 38.5 minutes, and for 30.5 minutes he gave everything he got. And it was great to have someone like that out on the floor that's willing to sacrifice everything for the better of the team.
It's like Indiana James with the Indiana Jones hat. I love that LeBron, I'm sure he looked up the information, but if he knew, he played 38.5 minutes. I like how he knows everything on the floor. He knows about what his players are doing. It is time. I thought in Game 2 that would be the only time you'd ever see a B-roll strip of Matthew Dellavedova. But this guy, his story to the NBA, how he got here, how Andrew Bogut wanted him to play for the Golden State Warriors. This is a guy who, and I could be wrong here, I don't think he even makes bench minutes on 50% of the teams in the NBA, let alone the starting point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers because everybody else is injured. Granted, the starting point guard right now is also the starting shooting guard, small forward, and power forward, LeBron James. So, JR, when you watch someone like Dellavedova hit these clutch shots, these floaters, how do you react to this? How do you stop that if you're the Warriors?
You have, again, you have to figure the guy out first. So no one knows. The hard part about a guy who's emerging out of nowhere is, what is it about this guy that we have to know and figure and take away? The adjustments have to be quick, and they have to come on Thursday, number one. So
you've got 48 hours.
Yeah, you have to find the next guy. This guy's basically on fire. He's gaining more for every game. You have to find the next weak link to leave. You would think, I would have agreed at the beginning of this series, Matthew Dellavedova's got to leave open. Fine, yeah, he's gonna freeze in the spotlight on the big stage.
And you could have said that in the first half of this game, because I was even tweeting out during the game like, oh, that's right. Oh, he was undrafted. That's why he can't make a three. And then all of a sudden the second half comes around and you're like, who is this guy flying across the court?
Right. Or you need the answer. You need the anti-Dellavedova, who is another one like him. Whoever that is on your bench, or whoever that is that's going to give you these flash minutes of disruption to throw a bomb in the middle of Cleveland's offense, you need that guy. You need an offset. If they have one, you need one too.
I mean, in situations like this, when you have a bunch of injuries and people who maybe shouldn't be playing in the spotlight that they're playing in get an opportunity, some people rise up and other people don't. And what you're seeing right now is Matthew Dellavedova taking a really rare, wonderful opportunity and making the absolute most of it. And it's fantastic. I don't even know if he's a good player. What I do know is that he is playing his ass off, and LeBron James is doing something in that locker room to make everybody try as hard as they possibly can for this team, and so far it's working wonders.
Got to wrap it up here, guys, but there it is. Game 3 in the books, 2-1 Cleveland. Game 4 is Thursday. Real quick, JR, do you think the Warriors can bounce back and tie the series?
I think they can. Will they?
Well, yeah.
I mean, there's two different things.
Will they win Game 4?
That is the hardest question, man. They should. They really should.
Yeah.
You wonder what it's something within their hearts and with their minds they have to do. There was a point when Steph, the first time I saw Steph Curry get upset, where he was jawing with LeBron James. It was like, oh, he's talking. Like, even when he's playing well or when he's had bad games before, he's always just an even keel, just quiet to himself. And something needs to spark somewhere. So if that carries over, I'm going to say yes, just because it seems like these guys are professionals. They have to stop wondering what's going on and start reacting to it rather than just watching it.
I don't know anything anymore. I really honestly don't. I wish I could tell you. But I mean, eventually someone on that team is going to have to step up on the Warriors. And why not tomorrow?
Why not? Yeah.
And Draymond's got back spasms, I heard.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I think everybody's.
I mean, I don't think you can really.
Like, maybe that's part of. Maybe
you can't
he's
use the
bothered
injury
by it.
excuse
No, it's
for
not
that.
necessarily injury, but like the fact that he's playing not like himself. It's in his head now.
Was
The
Harrison
Warriors'
Barnes
problem is all in their
bothered by it
head. It's always something.
A lot of what is Yogi Berra's quote? Something like this game is half mental, half psychological.
Right.
Has
So
to do
when,
with that.
like, I feel like a spasm is an annoying injury, not where it shelves you, but where you're just like, oh, this is. Are you gonna think about it? I mean, look, we said how Dellavedova had dehydration and cramp issues. He played through it.
Yeah.
You got to get your mind in it.
All true. Here we go, guys. Game 4, Thursday night. We're excited for it. Is this not the best finals you've seen in a long, long time? We're watching greatness. That is what LeBron James has been doing. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think wins Game 4? Because what's the fucking point of predicting past that as it is? Don't forget to subscribe. Jeremy, JR, Jason. See you next time.